I was born in a small little town on the northwest of Poland, but then my parents moved to Warsaw, which is the capital of Poland. And that sort of prompted a little bit, I was a teenager back then, to saying, I actually do enjoy it, something like very cleansing about moving places. And not maybe starting from beginning, but just having this fresh start and just not knowing anyone. It almost like woke something adventurous in me. My name is Sylwia Bujack Oliver.
And where do you live?
Currently in Rochester, Minnesota. This is number one question. Where are you from? Whenever people want to know my accent, which they're obviously too polite to ask me where I'm originally from. So I'm like, Rochester. I live in Rochester. The whole big thing, and I'm sure it's currently still happening, it's to travel. You don't have your family yet, you don't have your kids. My parents were always like very adventurous and saying, go, you're young. Yes, come back. We're always here for you, but you need to travel. The whole discussion was basically, what can I do and how to get out of Poland. And that's why I decided to move to Northern Ireland. And I've actually met my husband there. You don't want to start a new relationship and just decide to leave your home country. So obviously I stayed. I had a baby there, Ariana, who's not so little anymore. And at some stage, my husband, we went to San Diego and he met his team there on some sort of conference at Mayo. And he asked me, what would I think about living in the United States? My first thought was, is he absolutely insane? I'm already extremely homesick. I see my parents 4 times a year. Let's just go even farther. That sounds like an amazing idea. But the more we talk about it and, about starting fresh and just trying to be adventurous, again, Ariana was 1 year old. And I knew whenever I moved to the States, obviously my husband went for an interview to Mayo Clinic and he was successful. They offered him a job. But the big discussion was, I'm going to be stay-at-home mom, which was really frightening for me, but also almost liberating as well. Because again, I'm at home with this little baby. I waited for my green card about 4.5 years. There was a lot of bad luck in that. Somebody audited us. In the meantime, my husband got promoted. So that was putting sort of our green card process, or my green card process, lower and lower in the little line. So I volunteered for Rochester area family Y. And then whenever I was able finally to work, my husband just says, hey, you've been unemployed for 4.5 years, time to find yourself a job. If you are independent person, I'm not going to even say woman, but independent person who, I earn my own living, this is my money, and just solemnly rely on my husband, being years and just asking, him, and obviously he was very generous, and just asking him for everything and being not able to support yourself, I think it's, it is traumatizing, I think. So I applied to be a fitness instructor / personal trainer, just for a few hours. And I was so adamant. I was like, I just want to work a few hours when my daughter is at school. Absolutely no full time. I know, the work-life balance. I learned my lesson. I'm going to be very smart about it. Yeah. And now we are 5 years later. Here I am working full time. I think the weather in Minnesota tricked my husband. Whenever he arrived for an interview at Mayo Clinic, it was March. And he's like, oh, it's so beautiful in there. Everybody just wears short sleeves, it's beautiful weather. Next year, whenever we moved in here, it was still snowing in May. And I remember asking him, because I watched the news, and he says, spring started in Siberia, And I'm like, yeah, and we just had this storm here in Minnesota. So that's how we ended up in America.